A Muslim's in fasting. Why only in Ramadan? There's a sacred hush that falls over the world when Ramadan begins. You can feel it, like a whisper from heaven reminding you, slow down, come back to yourself, come back to God. But here's a question so many wonder, why do Muslims fast only in Ramadan? Copper, why this month? Why this rhythm? Let me tell you something. Ramadan is not just a time on the calendar. It is a divine invitation, a reset for the soul, a holy mirror held up to your heart. Yes, fasting happens in this month, but don't be mistaken. Ramadan is not about starving the body. It's about feeding the spirit. It's where ego goes hungry and faith grows full. Now, does Islam limit fasting to only this one month? Absolutely not. But Ramadan, oh, Ramadan is different. Because in this one month, millions of hearts beat in sync. Millions of souls rise before the sun, not just to stop eating, but to start becoming, to break not just their fast, but their bad habits, their grudges, their laziness, their distractions. So why do many Muslims fast only in Ramadan? Because it's the month that calls you. It's the month where the world changes its pace and reminds you, you are more than your desires, more than your schedule, more than this world. But let me tell you something powerful. Ramadan was never meant to be the finish line. It's the training ground, the spiritual gym, the place where you build muscles in patience, in faith, in silence, so that when Ramadan ends, those strengths carry you forward. You see, fasting isn't just about what you don't eat. It's about what you don't become. Don't become angry. Don't become distracted. Don't become distracted. Then that's a lesson for all year long. So let's not ask, well, why only in Ramadan? Let's ask, well, what will I carry from Ramadan into every day of my life? Because the goal was never 30 days. The goal was transformation. And that, my friends, is the kind of fast that lasts forever. Ramadan is often recognized as the month of fasting, but to reduce it to just abstaining from food and drink misses the heart of what it truly represents. Fasting is only the surface. The deeper current runs through the soul, the heart, and the mind. Ramadan is a sacred opportunity, a divine pause, a moment in the year where life slows down just enough for people to finally hear their own heartbeat in sync with something greater than themselves. When the sun rises and the fast begins, it is not simply a matter of denying the body its hunger. It is about learning to control the nafs, the ego, the impulses, the urges that often lead us away from our higher purpose. During Ramadan, every desire is tested not to break us, but to reveal to us how strong we truly are. When a person chooses not to eat or drink, even when no one is watching, it builds integrity. When a person chooses not to speak harshly, not to judge, not to gossip, it cultivates inner purity. This month is a spiritual boot camp designed to cleanse not just the stomach, but the soul. It teaches patience when tempers flare. It teaches compassion when seeing others break their fast with nothing but water and bread. It teaches gratitude because nothing makes a person appreciate blessings more than going without them. The taste of water after a long day of fasting becomes a reminder that even the simplest things are gifts from God. Ramadan is also about connection with the Creator, with the community, and with oneself. The night prayers, the reading of the Quran, the long moments of quiet reflection, they all bring a person closer to something eternal. Ramadan gives people time to slow down, to reflect on who they've become, and to make the intentional choice to become someone better. Moreover, the power of Ramadan is magnified by its collective spirit. Millions of people all over the world are fasting together, praying together, striving together. That unity creates a ripple effect of spiritual energy that inspires even those who are struggling in their faith to try again, to return, to begin anew. So no, Ramadan is not just about fasting. It is about refining. It is about renewal. It is about rediscovering the essence of faith and the discipline of the soul. It is the reminder that the human being is more than flesh and desire, We are spirit, and we are capable of rising above our lower selves. That is the hidden miracle of this month. Not just what we give up, but what we gain. The deeper purpose of Ramadan goes far beyond the act of refraining from food and drink. It is a sacred month that calls the soul back to its origin, its purpose, and its creator. In a world constantly filled with noise, distraction, and desire, Ramadan offers silence, clarity, and spiritual stillness. It is a divine gift, a time when the heart is softened, the mind is sharpened, and the soul is given room to breathe. At its core, Ramadan is about transformation. It invites each person to look inward and confront what they've been avoiding, the habits they've picked up, the people they've hurt, the prayers they've neglected. It doesn't demand perfection, but it does require honesty. It asks, who are you when no one is watching? What do you worship in your daily life? God or your own comfort? And most importantly, are you willing to change? Ramadan creates a sacred space for that change. Fasting isn't just about hunger. It's about breaking the dependency on everything that numbs or distracts. Constant entertainment, endless scrolling, emotional eating, careless speech. It is in that discomfort that one finds truth, interest. When the body is denied its usual pleasures, the heart becomes more open, more alert. You begin to feel more, not just your own emotions, but the struggles of others. Empathy grows. Compassion deepens. This month teaches discipline in a gentle but profound way. It teaches that you don't have to obey every craving, every emotion, every impulse. You learn restraint, and in that restraint, you find power. You discover that you are stronger than your excuses, stronger than your habits, stronger than your past. Stronger than your past. That strength is what carries over into every part of your life. Your relationships, your work, your character. The deeper purpose of Ramadan is also about reconnecting. The Quran is recited more, prayers are offered more regularly, and people come together in homes and mosques to share meals and faith. But more than that, it is about reconnecting with the self. In the stillness of early mornings and the peace of late nights, people meet parts of themselves they've forgotten. The rush of the world fades, and what remains is sincerity. Above all, Ramadan is a reminder that life is temporary, that the soul has a destination, and that everything we chase in this world will one day vanish. It reminds us to focus on what truly matters: mercy, humility, gratitude, and devotion. It is not about being perfect for 30 days. It is about returning to the path and striving again with sincerity. That is the deeper purpose of Ramadan, not a ritual of deprivation, but a season of awakening, mercy, and transformation. Fasting in Islam is not limited to Ramadan. While Ramadan holds a unique place as the obligatory month of fasting, the practice of fasting extends far beyond it. In fact, fasting outside of Ramadan is deeply embedded in the spiritual tradition of Islam, serving as a continuous path towards self-discipline, reflection, and closeness to God. It's a way of life, a quiet but powerful act of devotion that doesn't end when the crescent moon marking Eid appears. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, regularly fasted outside of Ramadan. He fasted on Mondays and Thursdays, encouraging believers to do the same. Why? Because those are the days when deeds are raised to God, and fasting while your deeds are being presented is a mark of sincerity and humility. He also fasted on the white days, the 13th, 14th, and 15th of every lunar month, symbolizing a rhythm, a spiritual heartbeat that keeps the soul alive throughout the year. There are also sacred seasons outside of Ramadan where fasting is encouraged. The day of Arafah, for example, is a powerful opportunity for forgiveness. Fasting on that day is said to erase the sins of the previous year and the year to come. The day of Ashura, too, holds immense reward. These days serve as reminders that divine mercy is not limited to 1 month. It is accessible throughout the year for those who seek it. The continuation of fasting outside Ramadan reflects a deeper truth, that spirituality is not seasonal. Just as the body requires regular nourishment, the soul thrives on regular acts of worship. Ramadan is a time of intensive spiritual focus, but the rest of the year is where that focus is tested. Voluntary fasting allows a person to carry the lessons of Ramadan into daily life, to remain mindful, to stay humble, and to continue purifying the heart. Fasting also offers protection. It shields a person from falling into sin, from becoming too attached to this world, from forgetting their purpose. It slows a person down. In the rush of life, voluntary fasting becomes a spiritual pause button, a time to reflect, recalibrate, and return to God. And yet, despite its benefits, many people overlook fasting outside of Ramadan. That's where the true challenge lies. There's no crowd, no collective momentum, no grand atmosphere, just you and your intention. But that's also where the sincerity shines brightest. To fast in secret, to seek God when no one else is watching, that's a different kind of strength. A private, quiet devotion that builds a deeper connection with the divine. So fasting doesn't end with Ramadan. It begins there. Ramadan is the training ground. What comes after is the real test, the quiet commitment to growth, the unseen acts of devotion that keep the soul anchored when the world becomes too loud. Many Muslims fast only in Ramadan because that month carries a special kind of spiritual atmosphere that is unlike any other time of the year. It's a collective experience, a global wave of devotion that moves through households, cities, and nations. The call to fast during Ramadan is not just a religious obligation. It becomes a rhythm that almost everyone joins. There's an energy in the air, a feeling of unity, purpose, and sacred timing that motivates people in ways they may not feel during the rest of the year. During Ramadan, everything is aligned. Mosques are full. Families gather for iftar. The Quran is recited in homes and on the airwaves, and everyone around you is striving, fasting, praying, giving in charity. That kind of spiritual momentum is powerful. It pulls people in, even those who may have been distant from their faith. The structure of Ramadan, waking up for suhoor, breaking fast at sunset, night prayers, gives a sense of discipline and shared purpose. It becomes easier to fast when the whole environment supports it. But when Ramadan ends, that environment changes. Life goes back to its usual pace. The collective spiritual push fades. People return to work schedules, distractions increase, and the reminders to fast are no longer as present. Voluntary fasting outside of Ramadan requires a different kind of strength. The kind that comes without external motivation. It's not about showing up because everyone else is doing it. It's about choosing it when no one else is watching. That level of consistency can be hard to maintain. Cultural habits also play a role. In many communities, Ramadan is treated as the fasting season, much like certain holidays are marked by traditions and rituals. People grow up associating fasting only with that specific time. They may not be taught or reminded about the blessings of fasting on Mondays and Thursdays, or the significance of the day of Arafah, or the white days of each lunar month. So it's not always a lack of faith, but often a lack of faith, but often a lack of awareness or encouragement. There is also a psychological element. Ramadan provides a clear start and end date. People mentally prepare for it. They make goals, shift their routines, and build up to it. Outside of Ramadan, there's less urgency. Fasting then becomes a personal challenge rather than a community journey. And for many, that solitude makes it feel harder, even though the spiritual rewards are still immense. Still, it's important to remember that even fasting only during Ramadan is a great act of obedience and devotion. It's a powerful step in itself. And sometimes that one step in Ramadan leads to more steps outside of it. The experience of fasting for 30 days can awaken something in the heart, a longing for consistency, a desire for deeper faith, and that spark can grow with time. So while many Muslims may fast only in Ramadan, the impact of that month often reaches far beyond it, planting seeds for future devotion, even if it starts small. Fasting is often seen as a spiritual duty, but it is also a profound tool for life, a practice that sharpens not just faith, but character. It trains the body, disciplines the mind, and awakens the soul. While its roots are deeply religious, the impact of fasting stretches far into every area of daily living. It teaches lessons that go beyond abstaining from food and drink, lessons about patience, self-control, gratitude, and resilience. When a person fasts, they learn to resist urges. That act of resistance, repeated day after day, builds something powerful inside, control over the self. In a world where everything is about instant gratification, where desires are met with a click, a swipe, or a scroll, fasting becomes a reminder that not everything should be satisfied immediately. It reclaims time and attention. It teaches that you can feel hunger and still be at peace, that you can have a desire and choose not to act on it. That kind of control spills into other parts of life. Controlling anger, limiting harmful habits, becoming more intentional with choices. Fasting also develops empathy. When someone spends an entire day without food, they begin to understand the pain of those who go hungry, not by choice, but by circumstance. It softens the heart. It brings people out of their comfort zones and places them into the emotional world of others. That awareness, that shift from self to service, is a powerful tool for building compassion, humility, and generosity. More than that, fasting teaches patience. When you fast, you're not just waiting for sunset. You're learning how to wait with grace. Grace. You learn how to be calm when you're tired, kind when you're irritable, focused when you're drained. These are life skills. They're tools for marriage, parenting, friendships, careers. Fasting is not just spiritual discipline, it's emotional and psychological training. It builds grit. Even on a deeper spiritual level, fasting strips away distractions. When the body is quiet, the soul begins to speak. You become more aware of your thoughts, your intentions, your heart's condition. You start asking deeper questions. What do I need to let go of? Who am I becoming? Fasting forces you to slow down and reflect. Something so rare in modern life. Fasting is not meant to be a burden. It is a gift. A tool to return to the essentials, to cleanse not just the body, but the heart. To detach from what doesn't matter and realign with what truly does. It strengthens your will, deepens your awareness, and connects you to something greater than yourself. And those are tools you carry with you long after the fast is over. Tools for real life, lasting growth, and meaningful transformation. Ramadan is the training ground for the soul, a sacred space in time where life is stripped down to its essentials. and the heart is given a chance to reset. It is not just a season of spiritual ritual, but a month of preparation, a spiritual boot camp designed to strengthen character, sharpen discipline, and awaken purpose. Just like an athlete trains for a race, the believer trains in Ramadan for the challenges that lie ahead in life. In this month, people learn to rise above their base desires. Hunger and thirst are not punishments, but tools. Tools that teach restraint, humility, and gratitude. When someone chooses to go without food and water while both are available, it builds a powerful inner strength. It shows that you can control your cravings rather than be controlled by them. That mastery of the self becomes a foundation for greater things: patience in times of stress, calm in moments of anger, clarity when life gets chaotic. Ramadan also trains the heart to care. Ramadan also trains the heart to care. When the stomach is empty, the eyes begin to see the struggles of the poor, the loneliness of the elderly, the needs of the community. Charity becomes more than a good deed. It becomes a natural response. The act of giving, time, money, attention, becomes easier because fasting softens the heart and widens the soul. This month teaches that we are not alone, that our lives are deeply connected to those around us, and that service is a path to spiritual growth. Discipline is another key part of this training. Ramadan gives structure: waking up before dawn, restraining the tongue, guarding the gaze, praying on time. This rhythm helps build consistency. It shows that you can stick to commitments, follow through on intentions, and live with purpose. The hope is that the habits built in Ramadan don't end with Eid, but continue into the rest of the year. It is a launching pad, not the finish line. Ramadan is also a time to face yourself. When distractions are removed, what remains is the truth of who you are, your intentions, your weaknesses, your potential. You become more aware of your thoughts, your patterns, your inner dialogue. That awareness is the first step to real change. It allows you to name what you need to let go of and what you want to become. Ultimately, Ramadan is a reminder that faith is not just a belief. It is a way of living. And this month offers the perfect training ground to practice that life with more prayer, more reflection, more compassion, and more control. The goal is not just to fast for 30 days, but to emerge stronger, wiser, and more connected to the divine. Ramadan is not an end, it is a beginning, a spiritual rehearsal for the rest of the year.